At this point, I'm just trying to figure out what I got myself into.
What was the last one? Detrone did this.
I like that one.
Okay.
Alright, welcome back guys to another episode of Detrone Does It. Of course, I am Detrone and I does stuff. And this week, it's more bus work. I'm going to be removing the emergency hatch from the top of the bus and installing a skylight. Now, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. I've already started, as you can see, taking up a lot of that silicone that they use to put the hatch in and seal out water. That seal has not worked great. It definitely has been leaking inside of there, and you'll see a little bit later in the video some of the water damage right around that emergency hatch area. So once I got everything disconnected and pulled out, I essentially had to use a hammer to force the hatch out of its place. And once we got it out, you can see all of this damage from water leaking inside, and honestly just from it being old. So later in the video, I replace all of this. So this damaged wood actually creates a dip in the roof, which I'm gonna attempt to fix today as well. So I'm gonna replace all of this stuff, but I just want you guys to see the extent of the damage. Here you can see sort of the roof is sagging. There's no real supports, so I'm gonna build in some support here for the roof section. So we've got here on the floor to help hold that roof up, and then we're gonna put in across the top, install them with screws, and eventually build out a support system for the roof. So before I can put the new skylight in and seal this roof, I need to get all the old silicone that was here up. So that's what I'm doing now, is just removing all of that old silicone and silicone tape that they use to keep water out. I'm gonna put down some new silicone up top around the plexiglass that I use for a skylight. I'm also gonna use some waterproofing tape inside the bus and outside the bus as well, hopefully to prevent any leaks that come in the top. Now, I know this is not foolproof, and because I live in a place that doesn't get a ton of water, I think this should do the trick, but I'm leaving it open in case I need to seal this thing completely. I can just remove the skylight once I'm done and then put some kind of permanent fixture in place to keep water out. Here you're seeing I'm using some of that waterproofing tape and applying it to the inside. I've already put new pieces of wood inside of those slits and remove the old wood out. So here's that plexiglass. It's pretty thick, although it's fairly flexible as well. And I'm using silicone initially around the edges to just create a bond. And I eventually go back with more silicone, also some waterproofing tape, and later on in the video, I'll actually also do a complete roof coating. Don't laugh, I know it looks a little makeshift right now, and it may not be the prettiest, but also no one's on top of the bus, so most people won't even see this. One big downside to having a skylight though is it's going to require us to clean it off every so often. So here's that finished product of what the skylight looks like with the waterproofing tape. Alright, so a little while later, after we've already got our skylight installed with some of this waterproofing tape that it's around the edges, we put some waterproofing tape and silicone along the top, as you've seen already in the video. But now I'm gonna seal the roof. We're gonna be using this 100% silicone Tropicool. It is a roof coating. It's intended for RVs, trailers, mobile homes, so it's intended to be out in the sun, in the direct sunlight. So I've seen this in a couple of other YouTubers who've used this to seal their roof, and they have nothing but positive things to say about it. So I'm gonna try it out. I know there's at least one leak back there at the back side of the bus. So I think this will do the job of getting it all covered up. And then I think that'll be it for the roof. And then we'll get back to the rest of the bus. There's a rainstorm coming, so hopefully I can get this project done before the rain. If not, who knows what's going to end up happening. So like I mentioned, I'm using Tropical. I've seen it used several times by other people and I hear great things about it. And so I climbed up on top of the bus, got this thing cracked open and started applying it. Now I wasn't exactly sure how thick or thin of a layer I needed, and so I just eyeballed it. I figure worst case scenario, if I don't feel like it's enough after I go back and review it, I can always go back up and put an additional layer on the bus. Just plugging away, you know, doing my thing, and then next thing you know, boom, my roller came off. Yeah, well, right back to it, I guess. So I'm making sure to put Tropical all over those seams from where I put my plexiglass skylight. Just in case I didn't do a great job with the waterproofing tape and the sealant and the silicone that I put on, hopefully this Tropical creates an additional layer to keep moisture out of my bus. It's a risky play, going with the skylight. It's made of plexiglass. Fingers crossed, guys, that I don't put myself in a bad position. So the next thing that I wanted to do is make sure that I created some additional supports inside the bus. So I began lining up pillars across the roof of the bus, which I'm going to then attach to pillars down to the floor, which provides some additional support for the bus. I know that it's really important that this roof doesn't sag, that way water doesn't pool on the top of the bus, and so I wanted to make sure that I'm providing as much support to the structure as I can. So on each of these, I'm drilling pilot holes. That way I can go back and actually use the screws that I'm going to use to attach to the roof. Alright guys, so I feel like I've been working on this bus floor literally forever and I'm still not done. But we have made some pretty good progress. So we got it all squared out on the floor. Getting ready to drill in the last couple of pieces that I just cut and put down. And then I'm gonna put insulation in on the floor. Then our top layer can go on and we can secure it. Man, I feel like this time has taken literally forever to get here. And it's still not here yet. So more work. Let's blow this thing out so we can get all the dust and debris out of the bus and then do more stuff.